So please welcome Valeria Perez.
Mother's Day. My grandmother, my mom, and I all decided to go to this local restaurant. And I remember being so excited because my grandma had decided to spend the day with us instead of my aunt. But that smile quickly faded as I entered the restaurant. I immediately felt all eyes turned toward us and glare. At the time, I didn't quite understand why the people were showing us so much hate. After what felt like an eternity, we were finally seated. And by then, my grandmother had noticed my discomfort. So she nudged me underneath the table and said, "Todo va a estar bien. Everything will be okay." The entire time we were there, people would turn and look at us and whisper. I will never forget the way those stares and whispers made me feel. This is one of the many examples of racism that I have experienced in my lifetime. Despite popular view that racism is a thing of the past, it is still prevalent in today's society. And by applying the 4-way test, we will start overcoming racism by asking ourselves, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And when asking ourselves these questions, we will realize that it is not fair to generalize people, that racism is truly still happening in our nation, and it is tearing it apart. Let's first look at the idea of, is it the truth? The truth is, children are not born racist. Children learn from whatever their parents do. According to teaching tolerance, parents may tell children they don't want them associating with a certain group of people. For some, prejudice can be a family value. So when asking ourselves, is it the truth that racism is still happening? Absolutely, it is still happening in this nation. And we need to understand that it is happening to overcome racism. The second point in the 4-way test, is it fair to all concerned? Racism is never fair. The media has taught us to generalize everything and everyone. According to Yale University, the overwhelming media focuses on drug use, gang violence, and other forms of antisocial behavior among the cultures. So if someone is only being exposed to the negative side of every single culture, they will never know the positive side, and the cycle will continue. In 2011, the Kenneth Clark experiment was performed on 7-year-olds of different races. The races were Hispanic, American, and African American. The 7-year-olds were placed inside of a room alone with 2 baby dolls in front of each child. One of the baby dolls was white, and one of the baby dolls was brown. Then they were asked a series of questions. Which doll is a nice doll? The kids pointed at the white doll. Which doll is the mean doll? The kids pointed at the brown doll. Which doll is the evil doll? Every single 7-year-old in the room pointed at the brown doll. Then they asked the 7-year-old why he believed that was the evil doll. The 7-year-old responded, because he's black. This is a clear illustration of how children at such a young age are already starting to generalize people based on their skin color. And it is not fair. Racist ideals do not build goodwill or a better friendship. Last year at lunch, kids I went to school with since kindergarten started calling me these horrible names. to go back to my country and that I should have never crossed the border, even though I was born in Aurora, Missouri. All I could do was look at these kids with watery eyes and try my best to not cry. Kids get bullied about their race on a daily basis. It hurts both mentally and emotionally. According to BigHealth.gov, exposure to ethnic race-based discrimination is linked to anxiety and even depression. Now, I wasn't to the point of being deeply depressed, but I remember not wanting to go back to school the next day for fear of further ridicule. This leads us to the last and final point in the 4-way test. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Racism will never benefit anyone. It breeds discrimination and hate. And by asking this question, we will start to see changes that are positive instead of negative. So with all of this in mind, the only way to overcome racism is to apply the 4-way test in schools, communities, and our daily lives by asking ourselves, of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And when asking these questions, we will start to see a positive change everywhere. So when I look back at my experience in 2012, I couldn't understand the hatred shown towards me and my family. And at first, I was so angry. But now I am not. That is why I'm here today, excited with all of you to share that the 4-way test can make a change in our life. It can spark a change within. And I know my grandma was right. At the end of the day, todo va a estar bien. Everything will be okay.